when they're hiring someone, they're like, I can figure out so much about a person just by following the breadcrumbs of like what they've done on the internet, who knows them, talking to all the people that know them. Like, so maybe there's a broader application for hiring.
This is all profit. Like, you have one researcher, they do a couple hours of research, charge $500 for that, and their only job is that. So you can make it the sickest one pager, like do like illustrations, infographics on like net worth, whatever it is. That's why I'm actively like, I kind of want to do this.
We're back, baby.
There it is.
What are we gonna tack this on to the episode?
No,
we just
dude,
shot?
this is its own independent. This is an experiment.
Wow.
This is an experiment.
Welcome to the experimental mini pod.
Um,
I'm a little butthurt. I was mid-lunch. Look at this.
You still
Hot
got
honey
it?
chicken.
Oh, he's happy though.
I
He's
am
happy.
a little bit happier.
Watch this on
but
YouTube.
I'd like to be eating that right now, and I'm not.
Nice, dude. It's August 3rd, in case anyone's wondering. And this is an experiment because sometimes what happens is we have our scheduled pods, which we just recorded, some would say 15 minutes ago. Maybe
Most
20.
would say.
Most would say, objectively speaking, depending on the gravity. Dude, if anyone watched, what's that movie where they go to space and like you get close to really Interstellar, dude. Wasn't sure if the astrophysics went over, but here's the thing. I got tea. And so I got tea because this new thing just popped up right after the pod. And now I have some options, right? You're going to be vacationing. So I could just jot this pod down and wait until you're back from vacation in a week. Or we could do an experimental pod where I just bring up the tea right when it happens. I'm on 3% upload. This
But I
Wi-Fi
got
is
you loud
nuts.
and clear. Yeah, better than last time. What happened,
right, so-
Pop?
Well, okay. I'll quit teasing,
Hot honey
dude.
chicken. I got a hot honey chicken.
You can eat. You can just listen, dude.
No,
Just
that's
listen.
gross sounding. That's
Okay.
gross sounding.
Well, it needs some preamble. So here's the thing. Normally I try and stay humble, right? I don't want to be flaunting my stuff, saying I'm smarter than everybody. But occasionally I get the feeling that I am. I get a little bit of a God complex. And right now I got one. Because I think like, so Charlie Munger, he has this thing. Like he just has a couple of these key little lattice works. I'm going to compare myself to him. Just like a couple I don't know what you call them, little like
Heuristics?
Mental models. Little, mental models. Yeah, that's the word I wanted. He's got a couple mental models and he just like hangs everything on them. And pretty much the only mental model I've been using is be the best in the world. Ideally the only. But like if you're going to do anything, be the best. And so like talking to yesterday Zach who has 10 bullets email, and he wants to take it more seriously. He's got like almost 2 million followers on Instagram, but it's like that doesn't mean anything. I'm like, dude, your email is fucking sick. I read it every day. It's like the only one, or every time it comes out. It's the only one I really like.
It comes out once a week, so if you read it every day, that'd be
I go through the archive. And so I'm like, dude, just double down on that. Like he was telling me stories of, or like how he wanted to find stories that are really obscure in history. Like we kind of all recycle the same sort of quotes and stuff. So it's rare to find something we haven't seen before. I'm like, dude, just hire a researcher. Go, just have that person full time going super in depth. Find these like obscure, like back of the library dusty books.
There's infinite. Right. It's just like, are you devoting the time? Like if you, yeah. There's infinite.
There he is. Cuts off his own thread. I know you're hungry, dude. I'm sorry. There's a lot of preamble.
Little bit hungry.
There are ways to make your shit the best in the world, and I think it's really easy to do. Like whether that's just research, illustrations, whatever. Like what we're doing.
It's really simple to do.
Great point.
Simple but hard, not easy.
As
because there's. I'm sure this is what you're getting to, but like,
you don't know where I'm getting to.
There's so much inertia. That was my point, dude.
Take a bite.
That was my point, dude.
A lot of inertia, dude. It's really hard.
I just meant like when you start something, there's a lot of things that can pull you in different directions. It's really hard to focus.
Right. And that's why I was telling him, I'm like, why I love Peter Thiel is he's like, all my employees, they have one thing, one mission. Everyone agrees that's the most important thing to do. And if you come with anything else, just ignored. And he only works on like a couple things a year, and if he makes 3 right decisions, it's a successful year. So I'm like, I love that mentality. It's like, fuck doing the 9 to 5 stuff. Very like in my laziness zone. So I was giving him ideas. Another friend of ours, Danny Miranda, he has a podcast. It's like an above average podcast, but it's never going to really break through. He's kind of like rationalizing like, oh, if I do it for 10 years, it'll eventually break through. And maybe that's true, but like, it'd be sick if you could do it in 10 weeks,
Now.
10 days.
Right.
It's
We
like,
used to think the same thing until we saw the light at the end of the tunnel, and we were like, oh, it was all post hoc rationalization of like why it wasn't working. But it's really sick when the thing works.
Little repackage, same product, and people instantly love it. 1 million more people watch your shit, which is the goal, and you make more money. It's like, why wouldn't you do it? But most people, I don't know if they don't know how, or they just don't have the time to focus on it, whatever it is.
It's hard.
I would just spit all these ideas to him of like, hey, Denny, how about you just like figure out your angle, what you're the best in the world at, and like triple down on that. It's like, I think you're really into like these deep dive therapy sessions, like uncover a lot about the person. They discover things. It's like, yeah, that's exactly it. Like, why don't you just like founders therapy or something, like really double down on the branding on that.
Thiener had that idea to do a show either for her company or something else that was like founders therapy. And I was like, that'd be sick. I was like, the only reason I listened to How I Built This when I was starting a startup is because it felt like therapy. Like when everything was so dark that we were going through, to hear other founders be like, yeah, you know, nothing worked, like all that. Founders therapy.
I remember you sending me that stuff too.
Do that.
So I'm like, dude, that's literally just the name. You call it that, but he's like, well, it's not all founders. I'm like, no one gives a fuck. Like, as long as it's like close enough to founders. I don't know. It's just like trying to take the horse to water or whatever it is. It's like, it was just really fucking frustrating because I'm like, I have the formula. There's the blueprint. Just fucking run with it. And it's like, he doesn't. I would even double down. I'm like, dude, get like a fucking therapist, like the chair that you go in where you sit down and like have a live set. I don't know. I just get crazy with it. But talking to him here, I'm like, all right, like say there are a couple buckets. Like, what do you focus on? Like, what's the stressor in terms of like success of the pod, like success financially, success relationships, like where's everything at? He's like, relationships, it's like an 8, pods like a 4, money's like a 1 out of 10. 1 being really bad because fucking he doesn't have a real job. So like, how does he make money? So I'm like, okay, let's solve that. And I kind of, we spitballed some ideas. I remember I told him before, I'm like, oh, just do like maybe like an agency like us or whatever podcast. But recently, this is where the FOD starts coming in.
7 minutes in on the 5-minute episode.
No, my bad, dude. And it relates to Zach in a way. That's why I brought Zach up. But Danny gets a text. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how to like frame this. So Danny gets a text and he said, don't share this with anybody, but like, I don't really think it's bad to share.
So
maybe I won't say who.
Hang on. Mm-hmm. You just got a text saying, don't share this with anybody. And you booted up a podcast and you're about to share this with everyone. Is that what I'm hearing?
Don't share the text, but I don't even think it's a bad text. So, you know, I'll make my own judgment here. Basically, like this person,
keep it vague?
I'll keep it vague and maybe I'll say name. But like this person who we've worked with in the past, they're like, hey, now you're going to know they're a podcaster. They got a podcast. They're like stressed about this podcast interview coming up. They have a guest that they idolize. Like, hey, Danny, like stressed about this podcast. And then Danny, I'd have to maybe read the exact text. Danny was basically
don't share it with anyone. Shares it explicitly.
right. Hold on. He's like, oh, okay. So this person says, oh, I have this interview with this idol of mine. I'm nervous trying to do research like you. And then Danny's like, dude, want me to just like do the research for you? And I'm like, oh,
okay,
that's interesting. And then our text in this fucking easy, and you freeze right on that.
You froze.
What did you get it? You
got it? No, I didn't get it.
I froze on that.
You froze on Danny's doing research for this person. You went, huh?
Oh, I revealed the name by accident right when I.
Oh, Oh, nice, dude. Congratulations.
Dude, that's
Congratulations. I freeze for 1 second and you tell everyone what you're not supposed to say.
and read the exact message.
And I couldn't call you out.
No, dude, it's out there for somebody.
That's right. That's right.
Whatever. Doesn't matter. He's like, Danny offered to do research for this person.
Yeah.
On his behalf. And he's like, oh, fuck yeah, do that for me. And now, like, Danny was just like, favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster. Like, he's kind of like saying like, oh, loves me. And he's like reaching out to do this stuff. And I'm like, Danny, you're a fucking clown. Like, he's asking for you to give him a product. He's like, that is exactly the product I want. Give me a 1-pager research just like you do for my guest. I'm really nervous. Now talk about like the sickest product of all time, because this is like an actual feeling. I am feeling nervous. He says it in the text. I am feeling nervous. Help me feel less nervous. That is like marketing 101.
Yeah.
Feeling nervous about the next podcast or feeling nervous about your interview or like that big client you have to sell? Buy Danny's 1-pager for $500, $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, depending on who it is that you're trying to reach. And now it's just the easiest thing to productize. Danny can just benefit because he hires his own researcher. Because I'm like, Danny, just like double down on the thing you're good at, like research you're amazing at. Everyone always says like, wow, you're really well researched. So now he hires his own guy. His own products, his own podcast improves. He sells that same product to other people, makes a shitload of money. All his buckets just get filled at the same time. I'm like, dude, I don't know if you're as stoked as I am. He's really stoked, but he has a podcast literally as we speak. So he's like, I can't react, but this feels like 20 cups of coffee just straight to my veins.
It's pretty good. Like, it's like a really good. Well, you were frozen for half the story, but it's like a really good selling your byproducts. You know?
Yeah. Or like scratching your own itch.
Yeah. Yeah. The reason I said pretty good, dude, I just want to eat my hot honey chicken. The reason I said pretty good is because it feels like the which we had for a while, which is like we always just want to make our own content. So like why are we going to spend more time working on like a productized service or an agency?
No, but think of it.
It's like he's going down the ladder rungs of wealth creation, you know?
Dude, if you get 500 people listening to your podcast, you're not going to make money off.
Right.
But now what are we doing? We're doubling down on our agency because we realize if you get an operator to run that, it can be sick. That's true. This is all profit. Like you have one researcher, they do a couple hours of research, charge $500 for that, and their only job is that. So you can make it the sickest 1-pager, like do like illustrations, infographics on like net worth, whatever it is.
Maybe like podcast interviews and research is so niche. There's a lot of them, so maybe there's something there. But I'm even thinking like, I forget who it came from, but it was in a podcast and they were like, when they're hiring someone, they're like looking for all the breadcrumbs on that person on the internet. They're like, I can figure out so much about a person just by following the breadcrumbs of like what they've done on the internet, who knows them, talking to all the people that know them, like all that kind of stuff. So maybe there's a broader application for hiring. It's like, because like what Danny's really good at is finding those breadcrumbs, stuff that the guests like hadn't thought about in 15 years.
Well,
and if you put that together for a hiring or recruiter, that could be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I cut out during this, but I was like this could be $100,000 1-pager to the right company.
Well, I also missed who the guest was for the podcast.
Okay, that doesn't really matter.
But it does in the sense that if it's like some Benny Bunko, I'm like, well, I'm trying to get to how do you get the $100,000 1-pager?
So it starts. Like, I don't think you should start there. Like, just start, like, make enough money. So it's like podcasters, it's nice because especially a podcast that has guests frequently, like, you kind of have recurring revenue almost. Or, like, you could structure it in a way that's recurring. It could be like $5,000 a month to get unlimited 1-page, whatever it is. But, like, that's the simple one just to, like, test it. Like, here's a person. Let's see with the research. But where it is really valuable is, it's an interview. You're about to make this hire that could be worth, whatever, $10 million over their lifetime. Like, let me do all the
Oh
background.
yeah, I
research.
see hires as more valuable than podcast interviews.
100%. And even like, oh, you're about to do this business deal with this person, like Hunter Hammonds. He comes to us and he's like, I want to work together. Could we just pay for someone to do like all the background? Like, did this guy actually make all this money? It's like just really
Are
find out
these
how
things?
to
Yeah,
investigate
yeah.
them. So it could be a really
Breadcrumbs.
fucking sick product and a ton of applications. Like there are better markets than podcasters, but just like an easy start for him because he's already connected there. And it's the same thing we did where we had awesome editors. We had extra editors. So like, oh, we're going to edit your clips for free. Just send him some free stuff. After a month of just free stuff, he's going to be like, can I pay you? And then you're going to figure out a price that he wants. Or you just like change the market. Like we did a month, like
And then
30
if you're
grand of free
sick,
work
right,
before you even paid us.
gonna want you to be his researcher.
Right.
So you tack on. Oh, he's frozen.
No, I'm
Did you-
here. I'm here.
I was saying if it's
I
sick,
heard you.
if you're doing that
I
free
was
stuff
here,
for
though.
yeah. Oh, nice,
Yeah, dude.
nice.
So-
Right. So if times $2,000 a month to be his productized researcher, then wants it, and then Nick Huber wants it for his show, right? Like,
right.
if you're a sick researcher, those guys will
Well,
spread it.
that's why I actually like. I'm actively like, I kind of want to do this, like, as. Oh, and you froze, dude. I hate internet, dude. Let's do a live podcast. I'm almost like I want to do this as a company.
Oh, nice.
Dude.
I got it. You want to do this as a company? We gotta go, Pop. I gotta eat my hot honey chicken, Pop.
You know the most frustrating thing in the world, other than bad Wi-Fi? It's when there's a huge excitement mismatch, which has always happened with Danny. I'm like really stoked about something, and the other person isn't, and then just pure disappointment in the middle.
So we should end this. We should end this
Yeah,
with
dude.
pure
That's
disappointment.
Okay. Well, started off hot.
The experimental mini pod ends
I
in
still
pure
liked it.
disappointment. No, that was sick, Pop. I'm gonna go eat
Gardaloo.
my hot honey chicken. Gardaloo.